everybody. Today I'm headed out to an appointment, and while I'm headed that way, I didn't get much of a chance to spend time with God this morning, but I got to spend some time with Him this afternoon as I'm rolling down the highway, and I got something really cool that I thought it'd be good to kind of share with you guys. I barely make it through a chapter, and today is no exception. I was in Mark chapter 14, and part of Mark chapter 14 is Jesus goes and celebrates Passover with the disciples, and while he's with the disciples, he says a lot of things to them. He says a lot of things about the fact that he's going to be betrayed. He says a lot of things about that it was coming to an end. He actually mentions that he wouldn't taste the fruit of the vine again until it was new in the kingdom of God. And I found it kind of interesting because he also talks about what we're supposed to do and what we're doing when we do the Lord's Supper, or when we take the bread and the wine. And I kind of wanted to expound upon my experiences when we do the Lord's Supper, because I think we miss something that's probably the most important part of taking the Lord's Supper. You see, Jesus is at the table, and he's saying, "I'm going to be betrayed," and he also knows that it's not long before he won't be here on earth with us, and particularly with those 12. You got to think he's just spent the last 3 years with these 12, and in that time, obviously they developed very strong relationships. Obviously there was more between them than just some kind of basic friendship. Jesus asked Peter, "Do you agape me?" Which means like an unending, undying, godlike love, that's a lot of love to have between two men. But the reason I bring that up is recently I have learned what it means to lose someone who got close to you, so close that you love them. And I had about 3 years with this person, and that 3 years, he was someone I saw almost every day. He was definitely a huge part of my life, and it only took 3 years for him to get to that point in my life. But when we lost him, it was hard to figure out how to remember him. One of the things that I'll never forget is that all I wanted from him after he passed was a shirt. And the reason I thought the shirt was important was, for me, it was a shirt that I had seen him wear so many times, and it reminded me of all the times that I'd spent with him, mainly because the shirt was just tattered and torn. But I struggle to this day on how should I remember him? What can I do to help me remember those things? And I realize that it's not really just, it's not something I do, but it's also just the way I live. And I go back to Jesus, and Jesus is sitting at the table, and he knows he's not going to be with the 12 much longer. He knows he's not going to be here on earth much longer. And he says to them to do this in remembrance of me, and he tells them to eat the bread, drink the wine. This is important, and I think something we miss completely, because when we go and sit down and we do this practice, we seem to just eat the bread and drink the wine and get it done, and we're on our way to lunch or whatever it is that we're next to move to. I would submit to you, stop Stop focusing on anything else. And remember Him. Remember Him as you read about Him. Remember Him as He has spent time in your life and as He's helped change your life. Really focus on your memories with Him. Focus on Him and remember Him. This is something you see repeated over and over again every time you read what He says about the different things that He's doing and the different things that He's teaching. He tells them to remember these things, to remember them. He knows that it's easy for us to forget. He knows that it's not everything stands the test of time. The very story of God from the beginning was lost. He didn't want us to forget Him. The Son of God didn't want us to forget Him. I pray you have a relationship with Him that's so deep that hits you in a spot where it hurts your heart to think about, are you remembering Him? Are you doing those things in your life to remember Him? Are you focusing on Him? Do you have those experiences with Him? I know it's not early morning and I know it's kind of later in the day, but as you go through the rest of your day, look at the things that you do and the things around you and remember Him. Remember Him. That's what God gave me this morning. God bless you guys. Thank you.